Start tonight with a live look outside over Denver. A hot day across Colorado. It's only getting hotter the next couple days. Not great weather conditions for crews trying to battle the interlocking fire near Leadville. They are making some major progress, though. Tonight, that fire is 45% contained. Here's some new video shared with us today showing some of the areas that have burned. Firefighters took advantage of yesterday's cooler temps to make some progress on getting that fire out. It started on Tuesday. It's burned 592 acres so far, and crews say it really could be a lot worse considering how much earlier this week it started.
I venture to say that if this fire had started in like end of July or August, we might be looking at a 60,000 acre fire. The fire activity isn't what it could be if we were a lot hotter and drier.
Now, while crews are making significant progress, they are worried about tomorrow's temperatures, hotter, drier, even windy weather, which will create some critical fire weather conditions. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Meckles. We want to get straight to Lauren Robinson to talk about some of those fire conditions and just how hot it's going to be. Real hot tomorrow across Denver. Like real hot.
Oh yeah, we're going to see those temperatures climb. A lot of areas across the Front Range and Eastern Plains will even see some triple-digit highs tomorrow. I think we're going to max out at around 96 degrees at DIA, but that's still very hot. I don't think there's a big difference when you're outside between 97 and 100. It all feels the same after a certain point. But today we were climbing up there. We saw a high of 93 degrees at DIA. Most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains saw middle 90s. We stayed a little cooler down in the Springs. 70s and 80s in the high country, then more 90s this afternoon across the western slope. Now, as we take a look at our HD Doppler radars, we went through the day. Most of us stayed pretty dry. Maybe a quick shower passed by, depending on where you were. Then maybe some isolated storms across northern portions of the Front Range and Eastern Plains. Well, now as we go through the rest of the evening, we only have a couple of stormy areas left. We do have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in place across the northern plains. One of them is near Holyoke. That's going to stay in effect until 9:15. And then the other one just south of that between Yuma and Ray. This will also be in effect until around 9:15. Both of these storms, what we're really looking for is going to be quick downpours, heavy at times. We're also looking for quarter-size hail, winds to gust up to around 60 miles per hour, and lots of lightning and thunder. To the south, we're much quieter. We do have a couple of light showers and storms there. But coming up in my full 7-day forecast, we're going to talk more about those strong storms across the northern plains, the extreme heat that we're headed for tomorrow, and the midweek cool down. All of that just ahead of my 7-day forecast.
Lauren, thank you. 4th of July is just a few weeks away. And a reminder, Colorado has some very strict rules about fireworks. Most are completely illegal in some of Colorado's largest cities, except one. 9 News reporter Evan Krugel joins us live in Aurora tonight with some of the restrictions that city is planning to lift this year. Evan?
Hey, Jenny. Yeah, beginning today, things like this sparkler are finally legal here in Aurora, at least until July 4th, after the city made a decision that's not so common across the state to ease fireworks restrictions. Opening day is a big deal and a lot of work for a small business.
It looks good when it's ready. It looks really cool.
And for Mick Cloesy, opening day is just around the corner.
Getting there.
It's why he's working another 19-hour day, making sure his tent at the corner of Mississippi and Sable is stocked for Monday morning.
It's a busy couple of weeks, but it's worth it. We're lucky to be able to do it.
Lucky because until Thursday, Mick wasn't sure he'd be able to open.
Each year, what we do is we take a very data-driven approach to determining whether or not it would make sense to lift the fire restriction.
Dawn Small says Aurora Fire decided it was safe to do so this year, meaning they'll allow certain fireworks from June 15th through July 4th.
Nothing that leaves the ground or explodes. So we're talking about sparklers, worms, fountains, all of those are okay, but certainly nothing that would launch and explode.
Of the 5 largest cities in Colorado, it's the only one where these will be allowed. And Dawn says that's why people need to be careful.
Colorado is, as we all know, is a very dry climate, and so I think it's upon all of us to try to do what we can to protect our environment, this beautiful state that we live in.
Back at Mick's tent, he's thankful to be in business.
It's basically a month of, make it or break it.
And says when used properly, everything under his roof is safe.
It's fun and safe, that's it. Fun and safe.
Now, firefighters say even things like sparklers can put off intense amounts of heat. That's why they say no matter what you're using, it's important that you keep a bucket of water nearby. That way you can easily put out your fireworks and, more importantly, make sure they don't reignite after you're done celebrating. We're live in Aurora. Evan Krugel, 9 News.
And that idea of properly putting them out, Evan, is important because we have seen that go south before when people think they just dump it into a plastic bucket. Even Aurora has dealt with this before.
Yeah, it actually happened right here in Aurora last year. Firefighters say somebody put their fireworks in their trash can after they were done on the 4th of July, didn't use water on that trash can. Those fireworks reignited overnight and actually caused a pretty big fire at a townhome that injured a firefighter. So they say no matter what you're using, it's really important you take these extra precautions, saying it's better safe than sorry.
Evan Krugel, the example of how to put out a firework tonight. Evan, thank you. You know, it's never a bad idea just to let the professionals do the fireworks. City of Aurora is going to have a 30-minute fireworks show at the Municipal Center at 9:30 on the 4th of July. Tonight, Denver police are still searching for 2 people that were involved in a hit-and-run crash this morning. It happened at Quebec and Colfax around 7:45. Police say 2 cars crashed, 1 rolled over, and 2 people in that car that rolled ran off from the scene. Police say that car was also involved in a carjacking this morning. Nobody got hurt, and police don't have any clear descriptions of the vehicles themselves or the people inside. There's a mass shooting at a water park in Michigan today. 9 people at least are hurt. This happened at a Rochester Hills splash pad just after 6 o'clock tonight, about 27 miles north of Detroit. Police say 1 victim is 8 years old, and the shooter fired dozens of times. Officials say the shooter is dead, and they're still investigating what might have motivated that attack tonight. Back here in Colorado tonight, Poudre fire crews rescued somebody after an off-road accident. It happened this afternoon northwest of Fort Collins, just off 285 before Ted's Place, West County Road 54E and North County Road 25E. Rescuers say it was pretty remote. It took them hours to get this job done. Poudre Fire says the man got pinned at the arm from that rollover. Several emergency responders came in to help. South Metro Fire says nobody got hurt when a roof collapsed at an auto body shop in Littleton today. This happened around 8:30 this morning at Bradford Auto Body on Littleton's Main Street. Firefighters say a 30 by 30 foot portion of that roof collapsed, and they worked to make sure the rest of the roof didn't fall in too. The owner and a city building inspector are now looking into it. The Aurora Fox Theater's 60-foot tall sign is now getting a facelift. It's been in pretty bad shape for a while. Crews started restoring it this past week. Chris Geddes is a historic preservation specialist for the city of Aurora and says they want this to look as close to the original as possible. The original first lit up in 1946.
People are going to be very surprised when they see the sign finished because it's not going to look like anything they've seen.
And you won't have to wait long to see it. The sign will be relit next Saturday, June 22nd. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris was in Switzerland for a conference, the Summit on Peace in Ukraine. She also had a meeting with Ukraine's president, and they talked about the new U.S.-Ukraine bilateral security agreement that President Biden recently signed. Harris also pledged American support for Ukraine and announced more than $1.5 billion in aid.
This number includes $824 million for critical energy needs, including repairing energy infrastructure. $379 million in humanitarian assistance, including food, water, shelter, and health services, and $300 million for civilian security assistance, including support for law enforcement.
More than 100 countries and organizations attended the conference. No delegation from Moscow, though, went to that meeting. Tonight, President Joe Biden was on the campaign trail back in the States. He was in L.A. for a celebrity fundraiser, a total star-studded event. The Biden campaign has reportedly raised a record number of money for this event. Campaign official says $28 million, the largest Democratic fundraiser in history.